if we're going to expect for God to do in 2016 what he has done in 2015, if we expect for God to do in week 3 of April what he did in week 2 of April, I'm not looking for God to do what he's already done. I'm looking for God to exceed that which he has already done. So if God's going to exceed what he's already done, that means I need to stretch forth my faith. So this whole series is not just another sermon series to preach you good or to pass the months by, to say we went from January to December, only to go on to New Year's service to say we're going to have greater expectation for what New Year. No, this is not your conventional series. This series is for people who are believing God for unconventional breakthroughs, unconventional miracles, unconventional mountains to be moved out of your life, unconventional deliverances, unconventional opportunities, unconventional relationships, unconventional partnerships. This is not for the average person. So this series is not for the average person. God says if you're here, you might as well hear what he's desiring to say so you can get out of this series what he's desiring to do. Let's start service over again. I saw many of your bodies coming here, but my question is your faith sitting in the seat with you this morning? Look around the sanctuary and see many people on the phone and many people looking around like, what's going on? Many people, worship is going on. They like, I'm still trying to wake up. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he's if I'm going to experience the unconventional blessing in my life, if it's a possibility that God desires to do it for me, but God will always present what he's desiring to do on the premise of contention. I want you to write that down. God won't do it because he wants to do it. God said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man opens, I will come in. God says, I desire to do the exceedingly and the abundantly above all that you can ask, think, or imagine in your life. But I can't do it if you don't have expectation for it. God says, I can only do it based upon your level of individualistic expectation. Amen. So if I'm going to experience the unconventional breakthrough and blessing and opportunity in my life in this season, if it's a contention that God desires to do it, but there's a strong possibility that I miss it because if my expectation does not match my preparation, there's a possibility that what God desires to do for me will pass me by. My God, I just said something already, and I don't know who I'm preaching to, but God says if you're going to experience the unconventional in this season, you got to command for your faith to take authority over your doubt. So if I'm going to experience the unconventional, somebody say if. Look it up by definition. Run your cross references. Go to the Hebraic context or the Greek, whatever you want to check. Matthew Henry's or Spurgeon's, whatever you want to check. You can check your boy like the Bereans check Paul. But I'm going to say something strong to you right here. If, by definition, means contention. Contention means there's a possibility, but possibility. How many people you know right now in Elmwood Cemetery who died full of possibilities, but never saw the promises of possibilities come to pass? Can I tell you the difference between the conventional and the unconventional, the average between the sub-average? Can I tell you the difference between great people and mediocrity people? Can I give you the solution? Can I give you the medium and the idiom between those two people in this life that you will live? Can I tell you the difference between average and above average? Can I give it to you this morning? The difference is one chooses to live conventional while the other one chooses to live unconventional. One of them will always seek the affirmation of other people when the other one don't care what other people think about them. I don't know about you, but the days are over with in my life where I let people hold me victim to their expectation. As for me in my house, y'all don't want to hear me in this place. As for me in my capacity, as for me in my faith, as for me in my finances, as for me in my healing, as for me and my spouse, as for me and my children, we will experience the unconventional. I don't care what it takes to get there. I refuse to leave this world without seeing the fullness of what God desires to do in my life. So if I'm going to experience the unconventional, God says you have to have unconventional expectation. Number one, you must have unconventional expectations. Somebody say unconventional expectations. This is one of my favorite verses. It's at home all over my house. Isaiah 55 verses 8 through 9, the prophet Isaiah prophesied to the people of Israel who were in desolation. They were going through the process of transition, and Isaiah comes and he speaks on behalf of God, and this is what Isaiah speaks to the people. Now, before you write and before you get lost often trying to read the verse, let me give you context so that when we read the verse, you'll have context of the verse. The people were going through desolation. They were in a place of darkness, and it seemed like there was no hope, or there was not going to be anything promising in their outcome. And it was right in that place of desolation and depression, and seemed like there was no hope left, and it seemed like the fat lady was about to sing. Isaiah comes and speaks on God's behalf. And I don't want you to get lost in me giving you context on what Isaiah was prophesying to Israel, but I want you to get context of what God is speaking to you in the context of today and what you are going through. So God says, I know that it may seem like it's over with, it seems like there's no hope, it may seem like what you've been believing God for, it seems like your prayers have gone unheard. It may seem like the people that you thought were supposed to go into the promised land with you have now left you. God says, I want to speak to your mind, because if I don't get your mind right, you're going to miss what I'm doing through the process of what you're experiencing. See, a lot of times, what we think is falling apart in our lives is actually God allowing for it to fall apart so he can use it to actually put things together. If I'm going to experience unconventional in my life, I have to have unconventional expectations. Somebody said I got to bring my expectations up. On the screen that's before you, you will see a baby elephant. Right when elephants are born, to those of you who have ever gone to the circus before, they call them show elephants. That these elephants are literally nurtured from the time that they're conceived in their mother's stomach to the time that you see them at the circus. You see them in their full form, but they are developed and cultivated from their infant form. So those who train these elephants know that when these elephants become a full-grown size, they will be too big to be held bound. They will be too heavy to have any restraints on them. So the only shot we have at keeping them tamed is by placing borders or limitations on them early. So what they do is they put chains around this elephant's neck, and chains around this elephant's ankles, and they take that chain and put it around a small tree. Now this tree is not even big enough to hold this elephant. But this elephant is not even conditioned enough within its thoughts to understand that what's holding me, I'm bigger than it. The only shot I got at keeping this elephant tamed is by putting restrictions and restraints on it early. Because once it becomes full grown, there's no chain that's big enough to get around its neck. Let me say it again. Hold on, Jeremy. Hold on. Because when it becomes full grown, there's not even a chain that's big enough to get around its neck. That's why Proverbs 25 verse 7, 23 verse 7, I love Proverbs 23 verse 7. It says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. My question this morning is, what has been placed around your neck from your adolescence? What limited exposures and experiences have you not yet had? So the stuff that you experienced at 12 is still influencing you at 50. And so you are of full age. You're about ready to retire. But you still think like a child. This is not for everybody because some people are comfortable with thinking conventionally. But I'm after about 3 folks in this place today who has an indescribable conviction within their heart that God has been knocking on your door, telling you how he's about to do unconventional things in your life. I want to tell you on this morning, and this ain't for everybody, it's not. I'm not just saying this to sound good in the sermon. I'm telling you what the Spirit of God is saying to me. This is only for about 3 people. The Lord told me to tell you this morning that whoever or whatever has been holding you, you are bigger than it.